Hi, it's Ian here. Welcome to another 5-minute marketing tip. Last week I had a bit of a brain freeze, and after recording my 5-minute marketing tip video, sharing it on social media, uploading to my website, etc., I forgot to send out the email with the link to the video in. So when I remembered on the Wednesday, I decided to run a little bit of an experiment. I sent out 2 identical versions of the email with slightly different headlines to a random selection of subscribers, and I got some very interesting results. One email I sent out with a typical headline that was "Get more engagement and interest from your customers and prospects," which kind of says what was going on in the video, and the other one said, "Sorry, meant to send this to you yesterday." And the results in terms of open rates was that the normal one, the "Get more interest and engagement," got a 32.3% open rate, not bad. But the "Sorry, meant to send this to you yesterday" one got a 36.7% open rate. That's 13% higher at a 99.9% level of confidence. So a much better result from the pure curiosity-based subject line. Of course, opens are great, but did people actually click? Did people get curious, open the email, and then go, "Oh no, I'm not interested"? When in fact the reverse, in the first standard subject line, 5.4% of people clicked through to watch the video. In the second one, the curiosity-based one, 6.5% of people clicked through to watch the video. That's 21% higher, with a 95% confidence level. So it just goes to show that curiosity really does work when it comes to people wanting to open and read your emails, for subject lines for articles, for people wanting to read that, for for headlines on adverts. Curiosity works. Now, in this case, you can't make a mistake every week. I wouldn't recommend deliberately making mistakes just to send out mistake-based subject lines in emails or headlines for articles. And eventually, even if it was genuine, people would get a bit tired of the same, "Oh, sorry, I made a mistake. Have a look at this instead." So in today's 5-minute marketing video, I have got 7 techniques for you, 7 different techniques, different ways that you can use curiosity to get more people to take action on your emails, on your articles, on any of your marketing. So I'll see you after the swoosh. Hi, welcome back. So 7 different ways of using curiosity to get more people to take action on your emails, your articles, and all your marketing. The first is an expansion of the "Sorry, meant to send this yesterday," and it's the use of what I guess you could call hyper-casual language. So, "Sorry, meant to send this to you yesterday" doesn't sound like a proper subject line for an email. It sounds like something you'd quickly rattle off if you were sending it to a friend, and then the friend wonders, well, what on earth did he mean to send to me yesterday? Other examples of that are headlines like "Oops" or "Sorry," or the famous "Hey" there with an exclamation mark that Obama first used in his re-election campaign. Worked really well for him, and since then pretty much every online marketer has used some variation of it. So really casual language that doesn't sound like it's an official business email can often work, and people are curious to what on earth is inside with such a casual tone to it. The second example is the use of schadenfreude. So schadenfreude is, of course, the kind of morbid interest that people have in other people's misfortune. So if you wrote a subject line of "My big disaster," one that's worked really well for me over the years is "My worst sales meeting ever," with the word "worst" in capital letters. In fact, I've done a couple of, I think I did "My worst email ever" as well, was another one I did. Those always work really well for me because people are really interested and curious to find out something, what it was, something bad that happened to someone else. Third example is the use of curiosity adjectives. So adjectives like strange, unusual, surprising, or even secret. So 5 strange techniques for improving your marketing, for example. And in that case, people are opening it because they're wondering what these strange techniques are. You're actually making them curious with the use of that adjective. Probably don't overuse the word secret because it's been used so many times, but strange, unusual, surprising. I guess the classic example of that, not quite in an adjective, but the same principle, is Mark McCormack's favourite book, What They Didn't Teach Me at Harvard Business School, or maybe it's called What They Don't Teach You at Harvard Business School. And you're wondering, this famous successful business person who went to Harvard Business School, what did he learn outside of it? What didn't they teach him? Another useful technique is the use of demonstratives. So demonstratives are the words this, that, these and those. So they are very specific but they don't tell you what they're being specific about. So what I mean by that is that the classic advert, do you make these mistakes in English, is much better and more effective than do you make mistakes in English. Do you make mistakes in English? Your mental answer is yes or no. Probably no, yes. But do you make these mistakes in English? You're then curious to wonder what these mistakes are. They're implying some specific mistakes that you might be making, but they don't tell you what those are. So you have to read the advert in that case to find out what those specific mistakes are. So the use of these, this, that, and those can invoke curiosity because people want to find out what those things are. So don't make this simple mistake. Get more clients with this simple technique. That's much better than just get more clients, for example. You can also do things with links to famous people. So I'll often, I think I had an email called marketing, something like marketing lessons from Jeremy Clarkson or something. You could do, George Clooney's marketing tips or something like that. And people are wondering, well, what on earth could I learn about marketing from George Clooney? So it's the juxtaposition of the topic they might be interested in with a surprising but well-known person who might be able to teach them something about it. It makes them curious as to what they could learn from George Clooney or the Dalai Lama or whatever about this specific thing. And there has to be a contrast there. It can't be someone obvious. Shouldn't be I guess Winston Churchill's leadership secrets, because everyone knows Winston Churchill was a great leader. Pee Wee Herman's leadership secrets, then you're curious to what on earth those might be. Linked to that is the kind of completely offbeat subject line. Good one that worked really well for me over the years was dripping blood, sponges, and something you might be missing. Because the end result, people read dripping blood, sponges, what on earth is he talking about? And they're curious to read to find out what on earth that strange subject line means. So if the subject line sounds like nonsense, it's really weird, but obviously makes sense when they read the article, then that can be a good one. Finally, the use of numbers. The use of numbers works because when you say something like 5 marketing tips stolen from my local coffee shop, people wonder what those 5 techniques are. If you were just to say marketing techniques from my local coffee shop, they kind of think, well, I know some marketing techniques, I'm probably okay. But when you say 5, or if you give a very large number, much bigger than the number of marketing techniques that they probably know, then, or whatever techniques it might be, then they're going to get curious to know what those particular techniques are. So other ones that have worked for me are simple things like the top 3 mistakes people make with sales. That's not quite the exact title, but implying it's the top 3. People want to know what the top 3 are. This very video itself, I'm planning on the subject line being something like 7 curiosity-based techniques to get people to take action. Now, hopefully you'll read that, you'll think, well, I do want to get people to take action. I know some kind of curiosity-based techniques, but I don't know 7. I wonder what the other ones are. Or I wonder what the 7 that Ian thinks are important are. So it invokes curiosity. So that's it. Those are 7 techniques for invoking curiosity, building curiosity, and therefore getting people to take interest in what it is you have to say and then to take action afterwards, just like they did for my mistaken sorry type email last week. Do try and roll those into your marketing. Don't overuse them. Don't use the same technique again and again because it becomes a bit monotonous and people become a bit blind to it. Mix and match. That's why I've given you 7 techniques. You don't have to use them every email, but throw them into the mix every few emails, every few subject lines on a blog post, every few headlines on a sales page or a piece of marketing, and they will work really well because curiosity drives people into the body of the article or the email, gets them engaged, and that's the first step to them taking action. That's it. See you next week.